Welcome everybody. My name is Paul Coyle. Thank you very much for joining us today for our webinar. It's entitled How Drupal Empowers Your Content Strategy. And I'm very honored to have with me our Drupal CMS expert, Sushil Tripathi. And Sushil will talk you through the presentation as we have it today. So just a quick overview before we get started here. This session is being recorded. And for those of you who have opted in to receive a link to the recording and slide deck, we will be sending that out a day or two after the webinar. So the title is How to Empower Your Content Strategy with Drupal Content Management System. In that, the purpose and agenda today is a very brief overview of Kellton Tech, our company, your content strategy using Drupal CMS, and then we will have a Q&A at the end. So just a quick overview on Kellton Tech. We're a pioneer of digital transformation. We are present across the globe, huge offices in USA, India, UK, Ireland, and Singapore. Our core strengths, people and technology, we're certified in ISO and CMMI at the highest levels. We have 1,500 plus employees, and in fact, quite a lot more than that. Founded in 2009, we have clients across the entire range of enterprise, and from the startup level right up to Fortune 500 across many and all verticals, and we're publicly owned and on the Indian Stock Exchange. Offices across the globe include ones in the US, many offices there, many in India, and also Dublin, London as well. So we are present in a lot of places. So just going through today's agenda is to go across the Drupal TCOE and have a look at the range of clients that are using Drupal to enable their content management. So she will talk quite a bit about how to get the best of that particular CMS for your content. Our success stories with Drupal, plenty of great logos there from across the world, many more not there as well. So just to introduce you to Sushil. He is VP of Technology with Kellton Tech, considered one of the top Drupal thought leaders in the world. He is forefront of this open source community with over 13 years of experience, and he heads up a team of over 200 Drupal developers who have completed over 400 large-scale Drupal projects, some of the best-known brands and organizations in the media, publishing, healthcare, non-profit, education, and government sectors. So I will hand that over to Sushil now.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for a fantastic introduction. Welcome everybody. I'm Sushil Tripathi. I head the technology department here at Kellton Tech and take care of the innovations. And I have been into Drupal. That means I started Drupal when Drupal was in 4.x, and now Drupal is 8.x and 9.x is on the roadmap. So I've seen this community growing from start. Even my first project when I started was even Dries was the creator of the Drupal. That means he was the person to review our code at that time. So that was fun working with him. So here I would like to say that is the content strategy, since it is about the powering the content strategy with the power of Drupal. I am not specifically going to discuss about the content strategy because I believe that everybody has their unique content strategy, and it is formed on the basis of different parameters. That is, in what industry you are, what type of content you are creating. You can be a media company or and a news website or a news aggregator or an e-commerce company or any corporate or like a BFSI segment company, or any of those companies who are promoting their content, their products. So everybody's content strategy is completely different, mostly if you see. So here what I'm going to talk about, then whatever is your content strategy, how Drupal can power your content strategy and how you can use Drupal to actually boost up your content strategy, because Drupal is an open source solution, everybody knows it, and you can actually, it is a complete platform which you can use to customize and drive it, like your content strategy with that in any fashion. So here, if you see the content life cycle, so first is the analyze, where you actually analyze the requirements, create the personas, create the scenarios, you chalk out the governance model, and then definitely the budget and all that. And then you collect the information, then acquire the content, or you need to author, edit it, version it, localize it, and put the metadata. Then finally you actually go to manage it, where you do the modeling, typing, configure, a lot of like structures, standards, and finally you put it into the repository in the management phase. And the final and the definitely one of those right now, if you see, the very much important phase is the publish, where you actually do the aggregation, transformation, you present it to different channels, and you syndicate that content to multiple channels, multiple ways, and then finally either you revise it or you sunset it. Okay. So where Drupal fits in? So definitely Drupal in analyze phase, Drupal does not fits much, because there are like specified tools and internal tools, or a lot of like tools people use to do the analysis and all that. It is more of a like personal work, that is where people actually do the brainstorming and all that. But from the collection to collection, management, and publishing, this is something where Drupal actually works very well. On the analysis side also, sometimes when analysis side is, you can say that when it is coupled with the collect phase, then it can actually give you some good leeway on the analysis also. But generally it is not being used there. So here Drupal for the content collection, how it works. So like in past we were working with some of the projects, and where with the media houses, where they were facing the problem of like, it is good that whatever is being posted onto the portal or like being syndicated into the different channels, but the problem was that the ideation phase and the content collection, because you have a lot of like wired services, bureaus, stringers, mails, and then even a lot of freelancers, a lot of sources from where the content actually used to come. Okay, either it used to actually, either it has to go somewhere where you need to collect it. So we created an ideation portal where it all of this. So suppose that media company is actually trying to create a new magazine issue, and they invited different content sources to actually like contribute the content, or they used a lot of sources to contribute the content. So people send the ideas, some of the content into that system, either using mails or using the web forms or using the mobile app. in the form of documents, in what sort of form, even few liners, and then it goes into the ideation, where there is a team which actually like get into the ideation, that which content is good to go with any of the issues, not only with this particular one. Whatever content is not cleared is got rejected, and then a content which is cleared, that goes to the number list planner, and otherwise there might be some content that can be put on hold, so it stays in the ideation portal, from where anybody can actually pull in and for the subsequent issues. And then the editorial meeting happens, they go with that or the complete numbered list, and find out like how many number of pages are going into the magazine, and what are the issues. So all of those content is assigned to like different issues, because some is suppose technology issues, some is the sports issues of those. So you assign according to that, and then you assign the deadlines. Okay, there is a person anchor who can actually like do all of these things, that is who manages the complete this complete project. And then the stories are created, all those inputs from the wide services, photographers, stringers, from the archives, all that come to the art team, and they can actually access all of this through that single ideation portal. And then it goes to the layout execution team, who actually take the help of the copy desk also. Layout execution team creates the layout of the complete magazine, and then it is being put into the library for the PDF archival. It goes to this anchor actually sends it to for the production. From the production, now this production can be anything. After this getting into the production phase, I have not put all of those scenarios, but it could be like you put the ads and all that there, you send it to the printing press, or you create as a e-magazine, and it goes through the subscription channels, where like you are emailing it to the subscribers and all that. So this part was specifically made for the ideation and content collection, and this actually served the purpose really well. And all of their like pre-printing or pre-release of the issue, all those tasks were at one place and being managed very well. So it increased the productivity of the team, like at least it made it like twice. Then if you see the Drupal for content management, so as I said, for the collection phase, we have used it very well, and it served the purpose very well. Then Drupal for content management. So suppose there can be many strategies of the content management. Here I have taken specifically the two examples that we actually used in some of our projects. One is the centralized content management, where you have multiple front portals, but a centralized place where you are managing your content and pushing onto the multiple portals, multiple front websites. And second is the decentralized or distributed content management, where there is no centralized content management, because your teams are structured in such a way that those are totally different business lines, and you cannot do the centralization especially in India, if you see, or even in Europe, where you you see a lot of languages that is multilingual. You need multilingual portals, and every language has a different portal, different cultural aspects and all that, where you don't want to centralize the content and make it more localized and distributed. In that case also, they can actually create on those different platforms, different websites and contents residing there, and any of the group portals or websites needing cross-site content, they can actually query and use it. Okay. So here, one of the centralized content management system, that means this is one of like my favorite one, where we actually, that means there can be multiple architectures of a centralized content management system. Drupal provides you few modules also where you can configure with the centralized content management portal, and then the front portals, and you can manage the complete content into this centralized portal and push the stories or content onto the target portals. That is very good for those, you can say that small, or those websites, those that does not do a lot of like frequent posting of the content. That is like they do once or twice or like 10 times in the day, that is okay. But when you have like hundreds, thousands of the stories, contents being published on a central website, and has to go on to be distributed on 20 odd websites, then it becomes like inefficient with those modules. Those are hitting the APIs of those particular Drupal websites to post the content from the central repository. Here what we put, we have put a messaging queue, and Drupal had provided a module that gives you the Drupal Stomp API, and with that protocol, the websites actually listen to the channel, to the messaging queue, and whenever they get a content that is destined for those websites, particular website, they pull in and create the respective content in their own local repository, and then it goes live onto that particular website. In that also, so here you can see that means you have actually complete headless Drupal onto the content repository system, where it defines the taxonomies and nodes, comments, all of those things. Comments are generally, that means those are on the end user side mostly. Here, some of the comments, that means already, like if somebody wants to post those comments initially, and or they want to aggregate all those comments from across the websites into the central portal, then they can use it. And after the access control and workflow is very important onto the content repository system, where the workflows are created for different access, and workflows are created for different teams, and they are putting the content onto the central repository. And then you have a global digital asset management also, if they already have. And also we have created a global Drupal's asset repository also, that was connected to this content repository system. And then cloud storage for images, videos, and audios using that DAM system. Because if suppose you are a company where there are multiple websites, multiple business lines, And also the content is coming from different sources, like video is coming from, suppose, TV and TV programs, and some of the content is coming from the magazine portals. Some of the content is coming from like direct being authored into the panel, and a lot of content is coming from the on-ground reporters. So all of those have the endpoint access to this repository system, and they used to submit the content into this. And then we had a global search index also for the cross-site search, where we created the search index for every content with the websites tagged, so you can actually search the whole of the properties, that means 20, 30 web properties of that media house or that company, and you can look at the content from one place only. So this is like one of the centralized content management system where you put there, and this is like right now live with one of our clients, and it's working really well, and Drupal is paying really well there. Then you have the decentralized content management system. So this is also one of the customer actually wanted, like every website should work independently, but whenever we need to cross-reference the content or use the content from other websites, we should be able to use that. So in that case, so we gave them those regional portals, and then we created a content federation gateway. That is nothing, that is just a router for the queries coming from anywhere, and it routes to the right endpoint of the respective websites and pulls the content from there. And now that content can be referenced onto these websites. So these are the two models that are very much popular. And then there are other things also, like somebody can run multi-website with the same database, multi-site with multiple databases, multi-site with shared users. So all those possible combinations you can do in Drupal, and it actually works very well. Then Drupal for content publishing. So definitely this is something very much like this is the front face, you can say that, and where you need to put a lot of like thoughts. And right now, if you see, the design and the presentation layer is like very much important into the content industry, with the performance of that front end and the search engine optimization and a lot of things. So if you see, that means content publishing channels, that means you need a lot of content publishing channels. And whatever I have mentioned here, we have integrated with all of this into our Drupal projects, and it is working really well. So you can see that, like Facebook Instant Article, then with Apple News, then Kindle Newsstand, Snapchat Discover, Twitter Moments, YouTube. Then you see the aggregators like RSS feeds, Medium, bloggers. Then you have some of your like technology-driven things like Google AMP, where you actually like make your AMP project to work on the Google AMP, especially on the mobiles with the low bandwidth and low internet speed. And then your own mobile apps, then your progressive web apps, and then finally exports and prints. The third-party content consumers like telecom operators giving value-added services who actually source the content from you, and the newsletters, and a lot of mediums that you can envision of. So here, if you see in this context also, Drupal fits very well, because many of them you will see you'll get out of box modules to integrate with. And since Drupal is very much extensible, you can create the extensions for many of these. You can enhance those open source projects and use them for your particular use case also, and can contribute back to the community also. So here I'm going to put a very small video. You can see that is where the content authoring experience has been like created very well into Drupal, and you can see that on the WYSIWYG itself you can insert the posts, quizzes, surveys, expert chunks, factoids, videos, anything, any type of like reviews, everything you can put inside that. And then you can select any type of templates, you can actually browse the images, you can put a lot of images, things and all that, then a lot of details, then you want to put an expert chunk for that. So it is one type of content type that can be actually used. And here you can place into Google Standout and any of those. Then here you can change the date times when it has to be published, and you can save. Then you can do the web preview, mobile preview, all of that. And here you can actually like see. So this is something we created as a solution framework and made it like it is really good for the media houses who are using it, and they are able to like roll out all of their websites using this single platform. Then as this one, I had a earlier webinar with especially for this like trends for the headless CMSs and all that, because if you see the front end is being like used now, front end has evolved a lot. I mean, everything is design led now, and one page applications, PWAs, and a lot of like front end representation has come. The form factor also had changed. It could be your even Apple Watch, it could be your right now if you see over the top content is very much popular, and a lot of videos, a lot of audios, images, everything is like now being used onto TV everywhere. So for that you need a content that a CMS that actually supports the headless nature also, where it is completely API first strategy and provides you content as a service. Because if you are a content provider, there are a lot of content providers, or there are a lot of like content agencies. Those do not have a face. They just provide the wired services. They provide the content to other parties to consume for. So for those also, it is a fantastic thing where they can use the headless Drupal, headless CMS. And so you can see that the plain and vanilla Drupal is like have the admin UI, have the front end UI also, and the core definitely. You can split the front end. The front end UI can go on to any of the JavaScript web apps or device apps type of anything. That means Angular, React, Vue, Ember, Meteor, any of these. That means Material, any of these you can use. And it is not a problem, because you have a rich backend interface, and you are using that for the content creation, for content governance, and all of those things. And you are actually giving it as a API. You can, so if you see the rightmost one, this one, where it is very much applicable for, we have some of the examples where these are big portals, those are having, those are running e-commerce on healthcare and other things, and they need a lot of marketing content to be managed and to be placed onto their website on the front end, and they needed a robust CMS platform which is API enabled, and they can use it as a repository also, and for the content governance. And finally, they want to display that particular content onto their website in like with the different logic, and that website wants the complete control how they want to show it and where do they want to show it. And that was perfectly possible. The Drupal's content API was configured with the API gateway, and from there it is transparent to all of those front ends, whatever front end is using it. So right now, that's all. We can go for the Q&A.
Okay, Sushil, thank you very much for that. Very good presentation, very interesting. And we have a couple of questions here for you. So the first one comes from James, and it says, does Drupal integrate with cloud, that is in Google, Amazon, or Azure?
Yes, it does. So Drupal has a lot of modules for like integrating with AWS on S3, using AWS S3, using AWS Elastic Transcode, and many of the AWS services. Similarly, on the Google side also, there are a few modules. On Azure also, there are a few modules. And even Azure gives the Drupal as their one of the offerings where you can actually use Drupal, run on even IIS server, and in the Azure environment, completely managed Azure environment. Even Drupal is available on IBM Bluemix and can integrate with that. And whatever is the cloud platform, since Drupal is very much extensible, even if you see the file system, it is written generically enough that you can create your own module and just drop in, and it will work. So I have not seen any problem with any of the clouds. We have successfully integrated with all of these clouds.
Okay, thank you, Sushil. And another question here from Michael, and it says, what is the potential of personalization with Drupal?
All right, so that is a very good question, because on the personalization, definitely, because if you see, you need either a third party to give you because of the behavior, user behavior and all that, you want to do the personalization. So some third party integrations you will need. So one such third party personalization also available in Drupal also, where you can actually like put the personalization with that, like Acquia Lift connector. So Acquia is the company that means that takes care of a lot of things. They have a lot of credit to betterment of the Drupal and even the commercializing a lot of things. So they have like Acquia Lift connector, that Drupal module helps in the unification of the content and insight collected from several sources, and about the customers, and delivering in context and personalized experience across multiple platforms. So definitely you can use any other also to do that. So suppose you want to like find out a group of like people that is based on other viewers or other content consumers behavior. If you want to put the content for like people who has viewed this also has viewed this, suppose, so those type of things also can be used, either using like if you are using Apache Prediction IO, or you can create your own maximum flow algorithm in Node.js or anywhere, where you put all this content, like who is doing what, push all that data, and it gives you the recommendation when you query for the next user. So that is pretty much possible, and already there are a lot of companies working towards that.
Okay, that's grand, Sushil. That is all the questions that we have for now. So, guys, the audience, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to email us by responding to the email address on your webinar invite. We will respond to you very promptly on those. As I mentioned earlier as well, we will be sending out the recorded version of this webinar in the next few days. Probably early next week. Thank you very much again for joining us. You've been a fantastic audience, well engaged. And if you have any further questions or would like to continue the conversation, you can email us at ask@keltontech.com or sales@keltontech.com for sales inquiries. Our website is www.keltontech.com. And we look forward to having you on future webinars. Thank you very much again. Thank you, Sushil, for speaking. And we hope to see you on future webinars with Kellton Tech. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sushil.